I drive rideshare in my off hours. And yes, I have no arms and severely malformed legs. I might be the most unusual Uber driver you'll ever ride with. Several years ago on Halloween Day in Orlando, I picked up a rider dressed as Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars. A very large Obi-Wan. He sat in the front seat next to me. He looked at my hook on the wheel. He looked at me and then back at the hook and said, "Nice costume." And people think I'm handicapped. But I've realized something important. Some of the things most people call handicaps aren't handicaps at all. I'm Jeff Steinberg, the tiny giant. And when I look at some of the earliest pictures of my life, I'm reminded of the opening lyrics to a song written for me by my best friend, Jeff Rudloff, many years ago. When an artist starts painting on a blank piece of canvas, it doesn't always look very good. You're wondering what it's going to be like when it's done, if it's ever going to look like it should. I suppose there were people who wondered something similar when they looked at me. Much of my childhood was spent in hospitals, rehabilitation centers, and institutional care. People could see what I was missing. They could see what made me different. And I'm sure some of them wondered what someone who looked like me would ever be able to do. What they couldn't see was what that very different little boy might eventually become. Somewhere along the way, I came to understand the words of Psalm 139. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That was true before I ever learned to walk, before I ever proved what I could do, before I ever accomplished anything at all. And I think there's something important in that. You see, I was given a canvas I didn't choose. And you were given one too. I have dealt with circumstance I didn't choose. So have you. I have faced limitations. So have you. I have opportunities to make the most of what I have been given. And so do you. My father used to tell me, "Jeffrey, never say I can't until you try. You never know what you can do until you try. Because the difficult we do right away, the impossible takes a little longer." And the song lyric continues. When the colors start blending and shapes begin forming, you begin to see the master design. When the last stroke is painted and the brush is laid down, it's exactly what he has in mind. And slowly the picture began to change. I learned to walk. I learned to do things differently, like using my feet to write and even feed myself. Can you feed yourself with your feet? Can you even get your feet to your mouth? I attended public high school and went to college. I became a husband and a father. And for more than 5 decades, I've had the privilege of traveling across America and around the world, singing, entertaining, speaking, meeting, encouraging, and challenging extraordinary people. And I began to realize that some of the things people thought were my handicaps weren't really handicaps. They were limitations, even disabilities. And we all have them. Mine are simply easier to see. There are things I cannot do. There are things I have to do differently. And there are things I can only do with somebody else's help. What I like to call Bed, Bath, and Beyond. I really should copyright that. Having limitations does not make me handicapped, just as having disabilities does not make me disabled. To my thinking, the word disabled suggests that I am not abled. Well, as you can see, that's clearly not true. I don't believe that a handicap is about wheelchairs, crutches, braces, or prosthetics. I do believe that a real handicap is anything that keeps me from being or becoming all that I was created to be. And the longer I've lived, the more I've realized this conversation is a whole lot bigger than me. The conversation becomes about choice. I have a choice. You have a choice. Every day, we make choices about what we are going to do with the abilities, talents, and gifts we've been given. Quit focusing on the handicap and start appreciating the gift. Maybe that's why we should be asking a different question. What is handicapping us? I'm Jeff Steinberg, the Tiny Giant. For the past 54 years, it's been my privilege to share these truths with people of all ages and sizes across America and across the globe. If something I've shared today speaks to you and you'd like to know more, my contact information is coming up at the end of this video. And remember, every one of us is a masterpiece in progress. I'll see you next week for another Masterpiece Tuesday.